Hello students, good morning. Today we are going to start unit 6 which is on game playing. Game playing is a very interesting area in artificial intelligence and we are going to discuss today one of the very important algorithm in game playing that is called as Minimax algorithm. Game playing and computer science has its association right from the beginning when first computer was built, and that was analytical engine. We know that Charles Babbage he built that analytical engine. Same time he thought of developing a computer program which can work on this analytical engine for playing game of chess, and later on he built a program which can play tic-tac-toe game. Later on, Shannon in 1950s, one of his paper, he proposed a mechanism which can play game of chess. Then Alan Turing also described a theory which can be used for playing a game of chess on computer, but he never built it after. Major breakthrough was in 1960 when Samuel he built a checkers playing program, and which was a self-learning program, what we call it machine learning, which has machine learning capability. So it used to learn from its mistake and used to improve its performance over a period of time. So there were, if you find out, two major reasons why this game playing was a central part in that particular era. First reason was people they thought that not much knowledge is required for playing game of chess, but later on that was proved wrong, because we know that, for example, if you consider a game of chess which was of central interest that time, that branching factor b is 35. That means for every move there are 35 different options on an average. Every player on an average makes 50 moves. So number of moves on an average for each player they are 50. So two players play this game. So whatever search tree will be generated, because alternatively they will play. So its order will be 35 raised to 50 plus 50, that is 100. So huge tree. So lot of knowledge is required. So afterwards that particular reason was proved to be wrong. Lot of knowledge is required to play game of chess. Second reason was that game playing is very structured. You can measure success and failure very easily. So either one player wins the game or loses the game, something like this. Then it is found that there are two important aspects whenever game playing program is built. First aspect was move generator. So there are two different concepts out here. One is legal move generator, that means all possible moves from the current state. And second was plausible move generator, that means possible moves. That means some of the legal moves which are interesting one. So first parameter which is of interest is how to work on the plausible move generator. Then the second parameter is static evaluation function. Static evaluation function. So this static evaluation function is used for selecting interesting moves or most promising moves from the available moves. So these two are the central parameters whenever you develop any game program. Then we know that this 8 puzzle kind of game. In 8 puzzle game we have a board, 8 puzzle board on which there are 8 tiles and 9 squares, and you move those tiles and certain goal is given to achieve. So you have to convert that initial state into the final state. So such a game is a single player game. So A star kind of algorithm you can use for solving this particular single player games. But for multiplayer games like game of chess, tic-tac-toe game, you will find out the mechanism which we have used by incorporating plausible move generator and some heuristic, that is along with your static evaluation function, that is not sufficient enough. So that time in 1928, this person von Neumann, who has proposed the architecture of computer which still we are using, stored program concept, he proposed a algorithm called as Minimax algorithm, which can be used for playing two-player games. So games you can divide into two major categories. First category is single player and other category is multiplayer. In multiplayer, specifically we are interested in two-player game. So one player is generally computer and another player is human being. So generally whenever we work on game playing programs, your game playing program should be intelligent enough so that other player, human player who is playing with that program, should find it interesting. Otherwise it will be a boredom. So that's why people, they are always thinking of developing smarter intelligent programs, as intelligent as that of human being, so that people, they will use those programs. And the algorithm which was proposed initially by von Neumann, that was Minimax algorithm, that was extensively used in two-player games. Now let us consider important features of this Minimax algorithm. This Minimax algorithm is a recursive algorithm because it uses backtracking, and one assumption is always made that both the players, they play optimally. This algorithm you will find out that is widely used in most of the two-player games, either this or variation of this algorithm. Games like chess, go, checkers, they use this Minimax algorithm. Now let us see how this algorithm works. Out here in Minimax algorithm, there are two players. One of the player, we call that player as max player. Another player we call mean player. So generally game is started with max player. This max player, he always tries to maximize his profit, and mean player, second player, that always tries to minimize profit of max player. So both the players, they will try to get the benefit, try to get maximum benefit. So max will always try to maximize and mean will always try to minimize. So Minimax algorithm works in depth first search fashion. So accordingly, depth first search, it explores the complete game tree, and by using backtracking and recursion, it explores all the branches of the game tree. Now we will understand working of this Minimax algorithm on this game tree. Look at this game tree. There are two types of nodes. One is square node and another one is this circle. Square node indicates maximizer node and this circle indicates minimizer node. So we are going to call this as max player, and this is the possible move for mean player. So therefore maximizer's turn, then we have minimizer's turn, maximizer's turn. Generally games started with maximizer's turn, then second player, that is minimizer, will play, then maximizer will again play. Then third type of nodes out here we have, these are empty squares. So these are terminal nodes, and along with these terminal nodes we have some values written. These values are called as utility values. These utility values are calculated based on some utility or heuristic function. So you will have to generate complete game tree first, and then you will have to find out these utility values. Now we will assume that for this example, utility value will be between -10 to +10. If it is minus value, that is from -1 to -10, then minimizer wins the game. And if value is between 1 to 10, then maximizer wins the game. So if value is greater than 0, maximizer gets the benefit. If value is between -1 to -10, then minimizers get the benefit, minimizer wins the game. So therefore you can find out here values are between -10 to +10. So if you are able to reach out here, that means minimizer will win. There is second possibility, second chance of minimizer winning the game. Third possibility, minimizer winning the game. And positive greater than 1 values are more, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maximizer have more chances than minimizer, that you can make out from those final utility values which are written along with the terminal nodes. How this game tree is generated? That game tree is generated from the rules of the game. So we have a set of rules. So we start with some starting node, and suppose there are two possible rules you can apply for this current state. So therefore there are two children node which are generated. So set of rules will decide your structure of game tree. Let us recall, in game of chess, branching factor B is your 35. That means for every move, on an average, each player has 35 different options available, and out there number of moves that each player can make on an average, that is 50. So two players play that game, so therefore 50 plus 50, 100. So 35 raised to 100. That will be the complexity of game tree developed in game of chess. So this algorithm as it is cannot be used to work on such a huge game tree. You will have to extend this algorithm, that we will discuss later on in the next class. But right now we are interested in game tree which are smaller in size. So we have maximizer and minimizer, they are playing alternatively. So alternate ply, this one move is called as one ply, second ply, and this is third ply. So first maximizer will make a move, then minimizer will make a move, then maximizer will make a move. Let us recall, maximizer will select maximum value, minimizer will select the minimum value. Now let us understand how algorithm will work. Then algorithm will start with this starting node. Suppose this starting node, this is starting node S. So it will start with this, it will move to this in depth first manner, it will come out here. Maximizer will have value 4, then it has second option -5. Since this is maximizer node, it will take maximum of these two. So max of 4 and -5, that is 4. So this node will have value 4 with it. So it will backtrack further, it will come here by depth first manner, and then it will have value 7. It will compare that with second option, that is 1. So max of 7 and 1 is 7. So value associated with this node will be 7. Now minimizer can update its own value. Minimizer will select minimum of 4 and 7, that is 4. Algorithm will backtrack further in depth first manner, it will come out here max of 4 and 8, then it will assign value 8 out here. It will backtrack further and find out max of -4 and -5. Max is -4, so value of this node will be -4. Then minimizer's turn, minimizer will select minimum of these two, so value associated with this node will be -4. Maximizer now have both the options available, 4 and -4. Best for maximizer between these two values 4, it will maximize. So therefore now we have what move maximizer should make to win this game. So maximizer will select 4, and then minimizer will select best of these two, so minimizer has to select these 4. Therefore we are assuming that both players play optimally. If minimizer selects this 4, maximizer will select this 4, it's a maximum value. So that's how maximizer will win the game. And let us recall, our assumption is every player play optimally. So minimizer has selected minimum of these two. Two options are available with the minimizer. So your solution path will be, which is shown in purple color. This is how maximizer will make a move and win the game. So this is the solution path. So that's how this algorithm works. Let us analyze this algorithm. First parameter in our analysis is whether the algorithm is complete or not. Completeness property, let us recall it. Completeness refers to whether it will guarantee you to give you the solution if it exists. So Minimax algorithm is complete. It will, because it generates the complete search tree, game tree. So if there is a solution, algorithm will return you the solution. So in earlier case, go back, we have seen if utility value is negative, then minimizer wins. If it is positive, that means greater than 1 or greater than 1, then maximizers win. There is also a third possibility, if that utility value is 0. So what 0 utility value tells here? 0 tells us that game is in a draw. So algorithm, since it generates the complete search tree, it will give you the solution guaranteedly, and algorithm is complete. Second parameter is optimal. Optimality refers to whether it will give you the best solution always. Now algorithm, as we have seen, is optimal algorithm. It will give you the best solution provided that if both players they play optimally. Otherwise that may not be the case. So if both the players they play optimally, in that case it is optimal, otherwise not. Let us find out its time complexity. Since it works in depth first search manner, therefore time complexity of this algorithm, it has to visit all the nodes in DFS manner. So time complexity of this algorithm is as that of your DFS, and that is this b raised to m, where what is b out here? Your b is branching factor, and what is m? M is the depth where you got the solution, that is depth of the solution tree. So m is the depth, b is the branching factor. So b raised to m is the time complexity of this depth first search algorithm. Find out its space complexity, how many nodes it has to store. So since it works in depth first search manner, let us go back. Whenever algorithm will perform these evaluations, and whenever it will come out here, algorithm need not have to remember the previous nodes, and therefore it is linear in space. So space complexity is therefore as that of your depth first search algorithm, and which is b multiplied by m, b multiplied by m, where b is branching factor and m is your depth of the search tree. So it is good in terms of time, specifically space complexity, not in time. Now let us come to the limitations of this Minimax search algorithm. Since it has to explore the complete tree, evaluate the complete tree, so therefore if for the game tree branching factor is more, or if your game tree is huge, in that particular case algorithm is slow. So that is one of the major limitation of this algorithm, but this is improved later on by extending this algorithm, and extended version is called as alpha beta pruning algorithm. Now let us solve this example. Example is, you have given a game tree Evaluate each vertex in a game tree by using minimax. The values or terminal nodes are given at the end. And this question may be asked in other way, like what move this maximizer should make so that maximizer will have the maximum benefit, or what best move this maximizer should make if this is the game tree. So that means you will have to evaluate this game tree by using minimax algorithm. That's all. We will see how to do that. Now since it's a minimax algorithm, it will move in depth first search manner. So algorithm will come out here. It will evaluate these two nodes. Square indicates here maximizer node, circle indicates minimizer node. These are the conventions. Both players play alternatively. So therefore this maximizer will select maximum of these two. So max of 6 and 11 is 11. So therefore maximizer will assign value 11 to this node. Then it will backtrack, come out here. There is only one option here. So value selected will be 5. Then it will backtrack, come over here. Max of 16 and 2 will be 16. So value associated with this node will be 16. Now it will go back. Now all three options are available. It's a minimizer's turn. So minimizer will select minimum of 11, 5 and 16. That is 5. Again backtracking will be done. It will come over here, only one option. So 7 will be selected. Backtrack, come further here by DFS. Minimum of 10 and 14 is, max of 10 and 14. It's a maximizer node. So max of 10 and 14 is 14. So it will select 14. You should better define before solving such a problem. You write which is max turn, which is min turn. This is maximizer's turn. This flies minimizer's turn, and then this is maximizer's turn, so that there will not be mistake. Now go back, it will backtrack further. It's a minimizer's turn. Minimizer will select minimum of 7 and 14. So minimum value is 7. So 7 will be selected. Now it will backtrack further. Maximizer's turn. Maximizer will select max of 7 and 5, which is 7. So now what is meaning of this? Maximizer should make a move towards this 7. So it will make a move to 7. Then this move. Then this move. So maximizer will win the game with a utility value if it selects, maximizer selects a node with value 7, because if maximizer selects this, now minimizer's turn, minimizer will select minimum of this, so there is no other option. So maximizer will have, this is the best possible option available with him or her. Now let us summarize what we have discussed. It's again heuristic search algorithm. It uses heuristic evaluation function because of utility values are associated with every terminal node. Now this algorithm is a slow algorithm because it has to explore, evaluate all the nodes. You can limit this minimax algorithm to look ahead, and that is called as look ahead. That means you can look further number of flights to make it more efficient one, and that's what is done in the extended version of this algorithm. And this strategy is used in Deep Blue, if you can recall. It's one of the program which has defeated world grandmaster that time, Garry Kasparov. That program used to look ahead at least 12 flights ahead, 12 flights deep. So 12 flights deep thinking capability was there for the Deep Blue. It was a supercomputer, and it has defeated in 1992 the world grandmaster that time.